Ripple XRP holders, we have a massive $160,000 prediction by January 1st of 2025 for Bitcoin in the entire cryptocurrency market bull run moving forward in the future based on what some analysts are saying. So in this video, I'm going to dive on the computer and talk about some breaking crypto news that you need to know, paying attention to in this year. I hope you guys had a great new year. I hope you had an amazing Christmas. And 2023 is going to be the most prosperous year of your life. Comment 777 if you agree. Comment 777 if you're feeling bullish, if you're feeling blessed. We're giving away a massive amount of money this weekend. We gave away over $15,000 this last 2 weeks of December of 2022, and we plan on giving away more this year. If you want to learn how you can win over $2,000 on Saturday, then give this video a like, comment 777 below if you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish, and let's get right into it. Let's run it. All right, my friend, welcome back to the channel. So on CoinMarketCap, $807 billion market cap with over 22,000 cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin sitting at $16,700, XRP sitting at 35 cents. And the rest of the markets over the past 7 days haven't really been doing too much. They've been flatlined. And in this video, I want to share some breaking news with you about Bitcoin, the dollar. We have to talk about Michael Burry, the guy who predicted the Big Short, made a crap ton of money off that. What his predictions are: the CPI numbers, inflation, Federal Reserve data. What will it take for Bitcoin mining to survive in 2023? Some mining data for Bitcoin for you guys based on past market cycles as well. And we have to actually talk about multiple price predictions as well too, and then what's taking place for the XRP lawsuit, maybe not ending in settlement, and here's why, based on John Deaton's prediction. So that being said, when we talk about utility, people love, cryptocurrencies for the fact that blockchain technology and the utility behind this technology is what's going to change the world. However, this is the most volatile asset class in the world, and people are pissed off right now because the prices aren't doing what they expect them to do. However, they're doing exactly what I've been expecting them to do, because this is what they've done for the past 4+ years on these market cycle theories. So when I talk about market cycle theories and I bring up minor data and minor capitulation data and CPI numbers, you guys are going to catch an aha moment throughout the course of this video. So pay attention all the way to the end, because if we're looking at the Bitcoin price chart right now, inside of this falling wedge pattern right here, everyone is waiting for a breakout for a Bitcoin, whether that's to the upside or to the downside, depends on what the Federal Reserve decides to do and what happens with the dollar, because the dollar has been trading to the downside and trading bearish since September of 2022. And if the dollar cannot hold this zone of support that you can see right here in red, if it cannot hold, the most likely next stop for the DXY is right around 101. Now, if the dollar were to drop lower in Bitcoin, right now, what's interesting is Bitcoin has been dropping with the dollar, when in reality, but we don't live in a real world anymore. We live in a very fake world run by debt and derivatives and massive monetary print orders and just goofy leverage trading. And with Bitcoin trading to the downside with the dollar, I want to discuss what would cause a reversal for Bitcoin. And also, we're going to bring up some predictions here as well too, because the next support for the DXY is right around 101, and what would cause the dollar to decrease? Well, Michael J. Burry is saying that inflation peaked, but it is not the last peak of this cycle. We are likely to see the consumer price index lower, possibly negative in 2H of 2023, and the U.S. in a recession by any definition. The Fed will cut, and the government will stimulate. So if the Fed cuts, you see the inflation rate right here sitting at 7.1. It was at 9.1 back in 2022. And if the Fed cuts their effective federal funds rate, right now it's the highest that it's been. If we look over the past 5 years, the highest that it's been in 5 years. If we click on 10 years, it's the highest that it's been in 10 years. If we click on max by 2008, if it passes what happened in 2007, 2008, that would be massive. So what he is saying right now is that the government will stimulate and we will have another inflation spike. It's not hard to predict that. If we look right here at the latest CPI numbers, if that were to happen and we were to see inflation spike back up and the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell cool off on increasing the effective federal funds rate, then I would expect there to be a rally in the markets. Now, if they continue to raise the effective federal funds rate and they don't cool off on this right here and they continue to raise these up, then I don't expect a bull run for cryptocurrencies, and I expect there to be a sideways trend, because there's three types of trends in crypto. Right? There's a bullish trend, there's a bearish trend, and then there's just sideways, boring, long, extended consolidation period where nothing really happens. And, it's not that exciting to see. And so when we look here at Bitcoin's price chart, right here, we saw that all the way back in 2015, where for an extended period of time where we saw Bitcoin drop, it didn't really do anything for about 300 days for almost an entire year before, we went on that massive bull run before the 2017 all-time high. So these yellow vertical lines, I want you to keep these in your head right here. There's 3 yellow vertical lines that I'm going to discuss that are super important on why we are very, very close to the bottom for Bitcoin. I don't think the bottom is in yet as far as my personal prediction. And again, this is not financial advice. Don't take anything I say as financial advice or investing advice. It's all opinions, and I'm bringing up data for you guys, and I want to show you all the data here because inflation being down, it's good news for the economy, but a spike coming again soon, based on what Michael Burry is seeing, would be bad news for the middle and the lower class because things would continue to become more expensive. Real estate, interest rates, if the Fed keeps rising the effective federal funds rate, it's going to become more and more expensive for you to own a home, and real estate is going to be less and less profitable because if it costs you more money for a down payment to purchase a home because your interest rate is no longer 3 or 4 or 5%, it's creeping upwards of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15%, then you're going to have to put more money down on a home, and if you're renting it out, it's going to take you longer to break even. So we had the best economic opportunity when interest rates were low to make money, all the way from 2020 to February when COVID hit. And then you saw April of 2020 and February of 2022 when rates were below 0.10 for that period of time. If you were not focusing on making money and capitalizing on that, and you were sitting back and you were watching Netflix, then you are either reaping the rewards right now for taking action or the consequences of being lazy. So what will it take for XRP to grow? What will it take for Bitcoin to grow? Because Bitcoin is the leader of the market. And for Bitcoin mining companies to survive in 2023, some miners have held onto the Bitcoin they mined, opting instead to finance operations with debt and other capital, which works really well until it doesn't, until the government changed things. So it was the perfect storm for Bitcoin mining companies back in 2022 because interest rate hikes increased the cost of capital. Mining Bitcoin became less profitable as hash rate stubbornly trudged upward while Bitcoin's price tumbled and the institutional whales were selling off and companies were going bankrupt like Celsius. Now you saw what happened with FTX being talked about every single day. It's hard to avoid the FTX news right now, and you're hoping for some positive news. Well, hang tight. I got some positive news for you because mining companies' treasury management strategies were failing them in the past, and the result of the tempest showed up in the stock prices of the 5 biggest public miners by hash rate. In 2022, Core Scientific, Riot Blockchain, Bitfarms, Iris Energy, and CleanSpark traded down 99%, 85%, 91%, 92%, and 79% respectively, which hurts. And so what was wrong before and what's going to be better in the future? Because for the past few years, miners have held onto the Bitcoin they mined, opting instead to finance operations with debt or other capital because of low interest rates and how easy it was to get money from banks. Now that banks are tightening up, it's a lot harder for everyone to get money to take out loans, specifically miners in this scenario. So this works really well when 2 things hold true for them to finance operations. Number 1, the price of Bitcoin is increasing in this scenario. So the amount of people looking to get involved in Bitcoin for the sake of FOMO is high, and it's easy to be profitable when everyone is jumping in. And any idiot can look successful, but when the tide pulls back and markets pull back, the true entrepreneurs will shine, and those will be caught with their pants around their ankles that don't know, how to capitalize during hard times. Number 2, the cost of capital is very cheap. So the amount of people looking to get involved in Bitcoin for the sake of yield is high because they could take out loans, they could use that for whatever they want. And these 2 things were true for the last couple of years, just like I said. So we had this really weird situation where Bitcoin mining companies who are in the business of mining Bitcoin weren't explicitly making money by mining Bitcoin. Instead, they were making money by financing the mining of Bitcoin. And this is a bit of an oversimplification. So in a theoretical world, in theory, Bitcoin mining businesses make money like this. The business has Bitcoin mining machines where they mine Bitcoin, and the business in turn exchanges a portion of that mined Bitcoin to pay for the expenses needed to run the business. So they're mining it, they're selling off a portion of that, and that helps fuel the rigs and electricity and everything else. But in the wacky world, Bitcoin mining businesses make money like this. The business has Bitcoin mining machines, which mine Bitcoin, so the same thing was before, but the business in turn takes capital from the debt or equity markets to pay for the expenses needed to run the business. And if it's harder to get money from the debt or equity markets or take out loans, then it's harder to run the business because expenses increase as the price of Bitcoin falls and as the Fed increases the effective federal funds rate. So everything revolves around this right here, guys, because this affects everything, how expensive it is for banks to borrow money from each other. So when our wacky world moves onto a place where, number one, the price of Bitcoin is decreasing. Number two, the cost of capital and how expensive it is to borrow money is increasing. Number three, Bitcoin mining is getting more competitive and more people get into the industry. You might be in for a world of hurt. And so all those things happen in 2022. And what's better now and moving forward, what's about to happen to the market? So we know that public mining companies are struggling right now, but amidst all the pessimism, there's of course a reason for optimism. Like I said, I'm an optimistic realist. I used to just be an optimist, but people that are just optimists, I call them optimistic delusionalists because they're not prepared for the worst case scenario. And usually worst case scenario will happen at some point or another. And if you're just an optimist, thinking you can manifest your reality for whatever you want, even though I 1000% understand manifestation, I practice it every single day. If you don't understand the laws of the universe, then when things come crashing down and you just have your head in the clouds and your feet in the clouds, the fall hurts a lot more. You got to have your head into space and your feet on the ground. So you're walking giant in these markets and you become a whale. So in theory, mining companies will mine when it's profitable and won't mine when it's not profitable. The mining machines these companies run on can be shut off or turned on easily. But in practice, miners aren't shutting down and ramping up their operations based on everyday price movements of Bitcoin or electricity. Instead, miners mine consistently through market vacillations. Because of that, there is a need to practice some sort of treasury management strategy that extends beyond the hold of all mined Bitcoin. Because there's three things that really wreck people. It's leverage, liquor, and it's the ladies out there if you're a guy. Because as men, we compete with each other for the ladies. That's the reason why there's buildings, there's cars, there's homes, there's expansion, is because men compete with each other, for women, for the ladies. Ladies, you do it to us. I don't know what it is. It's something about you. It gets us going. It gets us revved up and excited, okay? So when we talk about miner capitulation, the nerdy speak here, for those of you guys that want to make more money to be more competitive, you need more resources on this planet. And as human beings, we're the only species that has to pay money to live on this planet. So when you learn all the nerd talk out here, you don't have to understand all the blockchain, complicated stuff. You just need to know where the money's moving, when it's moving, how to position yourself, how to capitalize, and how to become wealthy. And for the ladies out there, you want to be the one in your family to wear the pants and build your income, because now is a better time for women to be able to become entrepreneurs. Most women that are entrepreneurs, I think actually have it easier than men, because you can smile and you get men to throw your credit cards at you anytime that you want. As a guy, it's a lot more difficult for us because no one cares how we look. That's why we don't wear makeup. Miner capitulation data right here. So when you look at the block since difficulty bottom, I've talked about this in multiple videos. We still haven't flipped. It's 217,000 blocks since difficulty bottom. And when it hits zero, that's when it's very, very profitable and very, very easy for miners to mine. So when I go ahead and I look back here, all the way back in 2018, all the way back in 2015, and all the way back in 2011, when it was blue and it was close to zero and the block since difficulty bottom were very low, when we go back here, well, these yellow vertical lines is when those points happen. Now, very interesting how the past three times of history is when the prices were at the bearish bottom. So we see $2.50 back here in 2011. We see $220 some back in 2015. And then in 2018, we saw Bitcoin at the bottom, almost exactly to the T on the bearish candle of around $3,000. So when we go back here and we look at where we are, well, we haven't flipped yet. That's why I feel like the bottom for Bitcoin is not quite yet in, and we're going to consolidate sideways, have a little further down to go, and then we will go back into the next bull run moving forward for a rally over the next 1 to 2 years. And then generally speaking, based on the 4-year market cycle theory, well, if we were to measure from top to bottom, it takes roughly a year to go from top to bottom, give or take a few months here and there. So right now, we're at about 419 days. So, hey, some people could say that the bottom is already in and that we're just going to consolidate sideways and, see a rally based on the Federal Reserve pulling back and Jerome Powell, stopping the rising of the rates. So if he slows down on that, then I would expect there to be a rally for Bitcoin, and then the bottom could be in. So I'm not counting out that the bottom is
not in, but also I'm not counting out the bottom is in. So when we look here, the next zone of support for Bitcoin is roughly around $14,000 to $12,000, all the way back down here from the rally of 2019 would act as a major support. And right here before it broke out in August of 2020, which was resistance. And so an 84% drop for Bitcoin from the all-time high, would be the same percentage that it dropped the last few times. If we were to go back down here, that put Bitcoin at $11,000. Now, I don't know if it's going to drop that far. Crap would really have to hit the fan for that point right there. But Bitcoin stock to flow model on the live chart right here, if we look in comparison to the past in terms of days until the next halving right here, where we are, well, we're very, very, very close to the bottom based on the past. If we look at the past of 2015 and the past of 2019. So bad news is that it's going to take time. You're going to have to be patient, but that's also good news because patience is something that you're going to need to learn anyways as a full-grown adult. As you are, you're most likely over the age of 18 watching this video. If you're not, you can get a competitive advantage if you're a teenager on all of your friends. When I first I was an entrepreneur since an early age, selling Pokemon cards on the playground and collecting golf balls and selling those on the side of the street. And doing the entrepreneurial stuff at an early age. When I was 19, this is when I decided to walk away from corporate America forever and said, I'm either going to become successful and I'm going to impact people's lives and fulfill my purpose, or I'm going to die trying. I'm never going back to work for somebody else that tells me how much I'm worth, when I could pee, when I could eat lunch, when I could take a break. I'm done with that. And I know if you're at an early age right now and you're feeling that same type of way and you're looking at crypto as that solution, I want to paint a picture for you for a brighter future, because just throwing your money and YOLOing your income in from your job into crypto is not the solution. Because if it takes an extended period of time for these markets to rebound and go back into a bull run, which regardless, it's going to take roughly like 3 years till 2025. We're in 2023. So 2023, 2024, by the end of 2025, 3 years, you're going to need to make more money on the front end anyway through a passive income business model that's recession proof, that you can then funnel into productive assets like real estate. If you want to purchase crypto, if you want to buy stocks, if you want to invest in other stuff, gold, silver, precious metals, commodities, you need more money on the front end. So when we look at the Bitcoin cycle repeat chart right here, this prediction based on buybitcoinworldwide.com is saying that the bottom of Bitcoin is pretty much almost in, roughly $16,800 where we are right now. And we would see a rally going forward into the summer of 2023 to put Bitcoin upwards of almost the all-time high. We'd see a sell-off right here, followed by consolidation. Then the final rally after having top, putting Bitcoin's price prediction at $328,000 by 2025, the end, almost in October of 2025. So could that happen? Well, cryptocurrency analyst Dave the Wave predicted that Bitcoin price collapse, which took place in 2022. He predicted that. Now he's anticipating a massive surge for the Apex crypto based on his logarithmic growth curve analysis. He's predicting that Bitcoin could ascend to $160,000 by January of 2025. He went on Twitter to share his thoughts about Bitcoin and said it could easily do a 10x over the next couple of years. And this is the Twitter post that he made right here on the logarithmic growth curve right here, which has stood the test of time for 4 years. Bitcoin could easily do a 10x over the next couple years. And so, that could extend though the bull run and make it a little bit longer to take to that point. So whether it's between 2025 and 2027, Bitcoin is really the only cryptocurrency right now that is not declared a security by the SEC. The SEC is going after Ripple's XRP. And if XRP or Ripple were to win, the SEC is going to go after other cryptocurrencies, and Ethereum could be on the chopping block next. Cardano could be on the chopping block next. Solana, any cryptocurrency could be on the chopping block next. So you have to be very, very careful. But John Deaton is saying that the XRP lawsuit might not end in a settlement, and here's why. So the cryptocurrency community has eagerly been waiting for a final ending in this lawsuit. It's been taking too long. XRP's price has been suppressed. They missed the last bull run. And meanwhile, the court is yet to produce a summary judgment in this case. However, XRP holders, the lawyer has dropped predictions over what could be the end of the Ripple versus the SEC lawsuit and how soon, this could be over. And so if we look right here, we can see that John Deaton posted this on Twitter in 2023, the SEC Gov versus the Ripple case. What percentage of people think that it's going to settle or goes to a verdict? 59.2% believe it's going to settle. and 40.8% believe it's going to a verdict or a trial by jury. So what do you guys feel? Let me know in your comments below. Deaton stated that a year ago, he believed that a settlement was likely as the US SEC wasn't surrendering its assertion over the Hinman speech drafts and emails. However, the commission gave up its claim and submitted the docs to Ripple and defendants. And so now the XRP lawyer believes that the XRP lawsuit will get a decision from Judge Annalisa Torres before trial. So are the Hinman documents key? Are they important? In the attorney's opinion, in these emails, if these emails were very valuable to Ripple and could damage the SEC, then the commission would have settled before turning them over. However, that didn't happen, and now Ripple is citing the Hinman emails in its opposition briefs. The SEC has even asked the judge to seal the Hinman doc, and it is now up to the judge to decide whether these emails and docs would become judicial documents. The judge can order the SEC to file these memos to be filed on the public docket with some redactions. He added that there is a healthy chance that Judge Torres will not rely on the Hinman emails or drafts in the ruling and accept the SEC's appeal. The judge has already implied that these memos stand relevant only to cross impeachment. And so, if we're looking right here, in his opinion, the only other reason for Gensler to settle is to avoid a ruling setting a bad precedent for the SEC as it goes against other tokens. But to be honest, he doesn't think he's too worried about it. I don't believe he's going to settle and publicly agree that ongoing and future XRP sales, including in the secondary market, are non-securities. So a settlement is still possible. However, another XRP community member, Bill Morgan, disagreed with Deaton. According to the Australian, it is likely that the SEC will decide the sealing issue in his favor on procedural grounds, so Ripple will not be able to use the Hinman documents as a bargaining chip for the settlement. However, Morgan does not believe that this means that there will be no settlement or that there is any less likely. So, as you guys can see clearly, people are debating back and forth based on opinion, and according to the attorney, there's a lot at stake for the SEC if the inapplicability of the Howey test to XRP were to be determined. And so, there's a lot for the SEC to lose here. There's a lot on both sides because Ripple's arguments on the Blue Sky case issue a common enterprise. If they're accepted by Judge Torres, the stakes for both parties are high, and this consideration or the risk of losing should only be more severe to both parties. With the SJ motion have been filed and briefed. A defeat against Ripple would also undermine the SEC's plan to expand its reach into the secondary market of crypto trading. That's why Morgan believes there's still a good chance of a settlement. And on January 18th is the last important date before Judge Torres works out a verdict. If no settlement agreement is announced at any time on or before then going to trial would most likely be the next and the only case scenario moving forward for that. So at press time, XRP was sitting at 0.34 cents, and it's just been hovering around the 30-cent price range until there's a conclusion of this whole entire case. Now, my prediction for XRP, take it or leave it. You know, that's not financial advice again, but I believe XRP will see a rally before this case comes to a close. And then there will be a sell-off, you know, amidst the news of the case. And then if there's good news, you know, and Ripple wins, which I believe, you know, there will be some sort of good news that comes out of this, whether Ripple wins or loses, there'll at least be clarity for the rest of the cryptocurrency industry. Then that will give institutional investors the clarity to push money back into this industry. And like I said before, XRP and Ripple as a company does not need the SEC's declaration of XRP being a security or not because they have partnerships with massive banks in other countries that don't have the SEC and they don't care. The United States of America is the only country that has said XRP is a security because they want their control over the industry because this challenges the old financial system, the SWIFT system. It challenges fiat currencies. It challenges every single thing